Hello, entrepreneurs. Joe DiChiara back to you once again with another amazing episode of Joe DiChiara Presents How to Win at Business. And today's afternoon episode is brought to you by one of my favorite sponsors in the world, Bedrock University. Our classes are open to the public. There is no COVID-19 on the internet, folks. Uh, Courses are free. Unbelievable trainings by people like Haley Gray, John Limbacher, Mike Wolf, and more being added on a regular basis. So visit Bedrock University today. And also brought to you with love by Saduki. Handcrafted stitch stuff, COVID-19 masks, gender reveal parties like I had for my daughter a couple of weeks ago. And it turned out I needed a pink banner. I don't know what that means. And so today, if you don't know me, where am I here? Yes, if you don't know me, like I said, my name is Joe DiChiara. I'm coming to you live from downtown Flushing, New York. I am a CPA entrepreneuraholic. And what I mean by that is I can't get enough of business. I love talking about starting businesses, fixing businesses, and sometimes closing businesses because not every business makes it. In fact, most businesses don't make it, and that's the sad truth. That doesn't mean that entrepreneurs don't make it, but myself, for instance, I must have started easily 30 different businesses, and I'm talking about businesses where I actually put time, money, and effort into it. A couple of them worked out fine. I was able to sell them or merge them into something else I was doing. But the truth is that when you start a business, the odds are stacked against you. There is no doubt about it. Business is not easy. I can help you make it simple, and that's really my mission. So if you're watching this by accident, and I don't believe that there are any real accidents, but if you are just starting a business, then this is for you. If you've been in business and you're not on track, and you're a solopreneur, let me make that clear. I work specifically with solopreneurs and brand new business owners. Very few of my clients actually have employees other than themselves. And that is my niche market. So if that's you, then I'm talking to you. And today what I want to talk about is tax problems. Apparently a lot of people have tax problems. And a lot of them through no fault of their own. So if you have a tax problem, if you owe the IRS, and what happens is most of the time, a lot of people, especially when you're in business, and you fall behind, and you owe the IRS money at the end of the year. Maybe you didn't know about it, and that happens a lot. People go to their accountant, they're not prepared, and they get hit with a $15,000, $20,000 bill, when in the past they were used to getting refunds. Those things happen all the time. And the sad part is that sometimes that happens and there's no resolution. And the next year, instead of paying or resolving the problem, it just gets put off. People kick the can. Let me kick it down the road. And you wake up, you might wake up one day and you're 3, 4, 5, even 6 years behind in filing your returns. So now maybe it's not even that you owe them money. Now now you're trying to be under the radar. Maybe not even trying. You just don't know what the solution is. Maybe you hear those ads that are saying, if you owe the IRS more than $10,000, blah, blah, blah. And if you go to one of those firms, I'll pray for you. I have, I know people that have worked at the IRS and dealt with, and I'm sure that a lot of them do great work, but it's really a crapshoot when you go and you hire one of those national firms, because you're basically dealing with whoever they hired. You know, those places are really just marketing machines, and they just churn. They prey on people's fears and the fact that they got a major problem. And a lot of times, what they do is they kick the can. They'll get a power of attorney from a client, and the client might think that everything is fine because I gave that guy, the tax guy, a power of attorney, and they're handling everything. And you have no way of really knowing if your tax problem is being resolved, because these things take time. And especially when number one, sometimes it takes years for a problem to surface. For instance, if you had a schlock tax preparer and they did something stupid, or they're under investigation, and all of a sudden, your return from 2 years ago that you thought was done, all of a sudden the IRS wants to look at it. And all of a sudden, you get notices, hey, this return wasn't filed. That happens all the time. So what do you do? What do you do? How do you address the situation? Okay, when you thought everything was going fine, and all of it, and this stuff happens. It happens because, let's say you had a payroll company, and the payroll company forgot to pay the taxes. That happens. It's a huge area of fraud with the IRS, where these payroll companies, they go in, they get all these clients, they take your money out of your account, and they're supposed to pay the IRS. Well, some of them disappear. They don't pay the IRS, but you, as the business owner, are still liable for those payroll taxes. So there's all different ways that people can get into hot water. But the idea here is that we need to get out of hot water. Unfortunately, unless you're terminally ill and you don't care about what happens, the IRS isn't going away. And unfortunately, it's not just the IRS, it's actually the state and local governments as well. And what happens is, once you get into the paper shredder, okay, once you get into the machine, you're on the radar. And especially in today's world where everything is instant information, okay, if you cash in checks, the IRS knows about it. Don't think you're flying under the radar. Okay, if you're paying people off the books, the IRS, they know about it. They got 18 million different ways to find out stuff. And if it hasn't caught up with you yet, it's only because they don't have the time or the manpower. You're just not that important yet. But like I said, there is a statute of limitations. So whatever you do today may not come back to haunt you for 2, sometimes 3, sometimes even 4 or 5 years. And that's something that is always hanging over you. if you're one of those people that are delinquent that haven't filed, there is absolutely, short of death, you can't even go to other countries anymore because they can find you. So if you plan on living and having a business and you want a life, at some point you have to address the issue. And what I'm here to explain to you today is that actually this might be the best time ever to start working out your problems. And COVID has a lot to do with it. The government is way behind. They were always behind. Now they're even further behind, and there is no catching up. There is the only way to rectify the dilemma that they have, which the dilemma is they have to process taxpayer request. You see, it works both ways. Once we get them on our radar, they have to respond. And with the lack of manpower and the actual lack of ability to properly follow through on requests for penalty abatements, offers in compromise, all kinds of deals that can be made. Now is the time to start putting your stuff together. Find a professional. You don't want to do this yourself. You want to get somebody that is knowledgeable in dealing with the government. There are former IRS agents. I have friends that have worked at the IRS that deal with tax problems. I'm not the only one out there that can work with the IRS. But you do need to have professional representation. Okay, not just, and again, CPAs are not automatically qualified to handle tax problems because a lot of CPAs only handle financial matters. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. I happen to have a tax background and very little auditing. I did not do I don't do certified financial audits. That's not my forte. Enrolled agents are specifically trained in dealing with the IRS. So they are somebody that you want to go to. And I would definitely shy away from those big firms. And if you owe less than $10,000, feel free to reach out to me. All you have to do is go to Time with Joe. I'll be glad to give you a free, 15-minute, 20-minute consultation. I'll point you in the right direction. And even if it's for something like penalty abatements, if you're just getting bothered by the IRS or by the state or local governments, a lot of times it's just, writing a letter will solve a problem. You got to know how to write it, who to address it to, and what they're looking for. And that's my story today. I'm sticking with it. So if you feel like you're in quicksand, if the IRS or the state or any entity is making your life harder, I might be able to make it simple for you. So Joe DiChiara over and out. God bless, and I will be back tonight again with more ranting and raving. Thank you.